Cybertron was a profound study in stark stratification. One world was visible, the other was intentionally obscured. The glittering expanse of Iacon, the capital and seat of the ruling Senate, represented the pinnacle of Cybertronian achievement, polished steel reflecting a pristine, filtered sky. Life here was a quiet, almost cold luxury, built on the dogma that efficiency was morality. This rigid belief, known as Functionism, asserted that a transformer's alternate mode, the function for which they were forged, dictated their inherent worth, their role, and their destiny. If you were engineered for rapid flight, you were an elite. If you were a ground-based hauler, your purpose was simple, unyielding labor. This towering, gleaming facade was sustained by the subterranean engine of Kaon. We descend now into this undercity, a realm where the air was thick with metallic particulate, the lighting was sporadic, and the masses existed in a perpetual state of energy deficit. Kaon was the raw industrial power plant of the system, and its citizens were subjected daily to the crippling effects of this caste-based philosophy. They were the anonymous foundation upon which Iacon's spires rested. In the silent, climate-controlled sanctuary of the Iacon Central Archives, Orion Pax operated. He was an anomaly, a simple archivist whose massive chassis, built for heavy, low-tier freight hauling, was profoundly mismatched with his intellectual hunger.
My chassis is a lie. I was forged for labor, but my purpose is here.
He moved through the gleaming halls, his frame a constant, silent rebellion against the dogma that claimed to know his limits. He sought the primordial promise of the primes, that freedom was an inherent right, not a caste assignment. Tonight, Orion uncovered a profound piece of forbidden history, a fragmented manuscript attributed to the legendary prime Vector Prime. This text explicitly defied Functionism, arguing that the true essence of a Cybertronian, the spark, was inherently fluid, capable of self-transcendence beyond factory designation. This was not merely an historical footnote, it was a weapon.
This truth, it cannot be denied. It is not an argument. It is a fact that breaks their entire system.
If he could present the truth of their own foundations, Orion believed the Senate would be forced to yield to logic. He meticulously encrypted the core thesis, knowing he could only entrust it to one other being, a lifeline he prepared to cast across the socio-economic chasm.
The signal, a fragile thread of data and hope, now completed its journey. It punched through the reinforced superstructure, descending past layer upon layer of industrial grime and unchecked energy flow, finally reaching its destination in the deep undercity of Kaon. This subterranean world was a pressure cooker of righteous metallic anger. The city itself was a study in perpetual exhaustion, its power siphoned relentlessly to sustain Iacon's false brilliance. The citizens here, the engine of Cybertron's machine, found their only true stage for power, their only escape from designated servitude in the brutal, unsanctioned world of the gladiatorial pits. We find D16, the reigning champion, in a desolate maintenance bay beneath the arena floor. He is a titan, massive, brutally effective, and covered in the etches of 100 victorious battles. He is not reading, he is preparing. Using heavy industrial tools, he applies dense lubricants and checks the specialized actuators in his fists. The rhythmic thump of the arena crowd above is a low, ceaseless heartbeat of violence. D16 receives the encrypted scroll from his friend. He processes Orion's philosophical findings, the beautiful, hopeful words of Vector Prime, with a low, frustrated vibration that resonates deep in his chassis. He saw Orion's hope not as a roadmap, but as an indictment of his friend's sustained naivete.
You seek to debate the structure, Orion, with the very scrolls they curated to limit us. You cling to the belief that they can be reasoned with. But your philosophy of fluidity only works for those with full energy tanks and clean hands. Down here, they see only what we are built to be, not what we choose to become.
For D16, the theoretical truth of the past meant nothing compared to the material reality of the present. He had spent his cycles witnessing the Senate's calculated indifference. He knew that the system had not failed. It was operating exactly as intended. And if the architects of the system refused to change the blueprint, D16 would be forced to tear the building down.
Orion Pax, situated in his gleaming, silent archive, delivered his final, desperate plea, rooted in his immovable faith in due process. He believed that the system could be compelled to mend itself if confronted with its own truth.
I have secured the platform at the Grand Plaza next cycle. I will present Vector Prime's text to the Senate. I will expose their hypocrisy. The majority will see the truth.
D16 listened to the words from Iacon, and a terrifying, cold certainty settled in his circuits. He let out a brief, sharp burst of static, a sound devoid of joy, serving as a bitter laugh. He spoke not to convince Orion, but to pronounce the fatal truth that he himself had accepted.
And when the Senate rejects the truth, when they deploy the armored units you claim are merely misguided to drag you from the platform, when your words are met with overwhelming force and your spark is extinguished in the name of order, will you then pick up a blaster, Orion? Or will you die a martyr for texts they burned centuries ago?
He allowed the heavy silence to hang, forcing his friend to confront the potential, violent cost of his peaceful idealism. D16 knew the answer, and it confirmed his path. The moment was one of absolute, tragic divergence. The gladiator understood that the Senate had only created the system to divide and conquer, yet in D16, that system had unwittingly forged its own executioner.
The high-caste only respects one language, absolute power, and I am ready to speak it fluently. I cut this channel, Pax. Tonight, the pits become a crucible, and the ore within them will be reforged without permission.
The encrypted connection severed. For Orion Pax, that sound was the death knell of their long friendship, a final, cold silence replacing the warm spark of camaraderie. For D16, it was the sound of his final chain breaking. He rose fully, his massive, heavy frame crushing the grit beneath his treads. The muffled roar from the arena surged through the blast doors, a collective voice demanding action. D16 activated his hidden broadcast systems to a vast, unseen network of loyal, powerful mechs across Kaon and beyond.
Tonight, the pits will serve a higher function. Tonight, we seize the spark of revolution.
He moved toward the arena entrance. The archivist's plea was dead, replaced by the gladiator's promise. The stage was set for a fracture that would consume the world.